Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills. I'm your host, Tia Young. Today we are going to talk about veterans benefits, and this is part one of a two-part series. To help us discuss the complicated and sometimes very confusing world of veterans benefits, our special guest currently holds two positions within the Veterans of Foreign Wars, or sometimes affectionately called VFW. He was recently elected as Vice Commander, District 1 Service Officer, and he continues to serve as Service Officer at VFW Post 9619. Our man of valor enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 1975 and proudly served until he was medically discharged in 1991 as Gunnery Sergeant. During his time as a Marine, while serving at Marine Barracks located at 8th and I Streets in the District of Columbia, he was on the Silent Drill Team, Color Guard, and then went on to serve as Presidential Guard at Camp David. He also stood post on the West Wing at the White House, for which he was awarded the prestigious Presidential Service Badge. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Commander Todd Traynham to our Skills to Pay the Bills set. Welcome.
Thank you, Tia.
I'm so
Thank you
glad
for
to
having
have
me.
you here.
Love to be here.
It is such an honor, number one, because, you are a vet, but
Yes,
number
I am.
two, because you took a hit for all of us.
Yes,
You
I
took a
have,
hit
ma'am.
for me, you took a hit for all of America, and we're going to talk to you about that right now.
Not a problem.
If you would just tell us a little bit about your military service, going all the way back to 1975,
Oh,
and tell us about that hit you took for us.
let me see. Hope some of y'all was still around in 1975, but let's see. Back in 1975, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I enlisted while I was still in high school. Went in, and going in, I was selected, I guess, in boot camp due to my scores and everything, to be a Yankee White, which is goes on to be a Presidential Guard. I then went to Marine Barracks 8th and I, which was prep for that. As you said, I served on Silent Drill Team and everything else, and then I went up to Camp David. I came in with the Jimmy Carter administration, and I went out with the Jimmy Carter administration. I was up at Camp David, up in Thurmont, Maryland, for about 2 years. Then I went from there to the White House and was on the West Wing door, along with guarding the Marine Corps helicopters, Marine One and everything else. I was on the West Wing door there. After that glorious duty, which was on the good side of the Marine Corps, I then went into the Fleet Marine Force. Going into the Fleet Marine Force, I've been around the world 3.5 times.
Wow.
So in being around the world
Around the world.
Around the world.
Not around the country,
I've
around the
been
world.
Everywhere.
Wow.
I've been everywhere. I've seen a lot of things, and I will say this to you and to everybody out there. This country is the best country in the world. It's the only place you really want to be. That's why you have so many folks trying to get here.
Yeah.
This is the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And in saying that, I loved giving my service to my country. I wish I could have stayed in a little bit longer, but I was hurt on some maneuvers, and I had to get medically discharged. I would have did 40 years in the Marine Corps if I could have. I then went on from my military service to I had a choice of 3 things: Maryland State Troopers, PG County Police Force, or the Post Office. I knew then, getting out of the Marine Corps with my military mentality, that I wouldn't last out there on the streets on the police force too long. So I then turned around and decided to go into the Postal Service. I went into the Postal Service, which was one of my best moves, and I was around a lot of veterans. A lot of disenfranchised veterans a lot of them came back from Vietnam and everything else. Some of them had negative thoughts, and a lot of them had positive thoughts. But in being around those veterans, I was kind of comfortable. So dealing with them, that's how I got involved with the VFW and other VSO, which are veteran service organizations. And dealing with them, that's how I got into the VFW.
Right. Well, I'm not going to announce my age,
Okay.
but I do remember 1975. I was
Yes,
around.
ma'am.
I was around before that.
Yes, ma'am.
But as you were mentioning, you brought back a memory. I remember when I was in high school, they had something called ROTC
Yes.
and NDCC.
Yes.
And the guys, most of them, when they got out of high school before they went to college, that prepared them for the military.
Yes.
But I don't hear people talking about that anymore. Are those programs
Yes,
still
those
in schools?
those programs are still in schools. As a matter of fact, both of my children went through ROTC in their high schools, and they both went on to go into the military, and they both went into the Army. They had careers in the Army, and they got on out. Yes, ROTC is still there. We have programs called Young Marines, which help young folks get mentally ready for dealing with life. Now, they don't have to go into the military, but dealing with life and what's out here in the real world.
Right, that's
Okay.
right. Commander, now you serve in 2 capacities with VFW, and both of those jobs, the titles are different, but within the title, they carry the term service officer.
Yes.
For both ones. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do, what your role is,
Okay.
what is service officer? Is it-
Okay. Service officer, number one, I just got sworn in as the District 1 service officer yesterday. That means I'm the service officer over 9 different VFW service officers. Okay. Now, I'm still the service officer at my VFW 9619 on Suitland Road outside of Joint Base Andrews. I'm the service officer there, and as far as being a service officer, I take care of veterans who walk in that door and say, hey, I want to put in for a compensation claim or a disability claim, as some people say. I also help veterans who are retired and want to put in a claim. That's a 2-part story. Let me get to the first part.
Okay.
Disability claims, and I want to say this to all veterans out there. Please, always go to a VSO, which is a Veteran Service Office, to put a claim in. Do not do it yourself online through Healthy Vet or go to the VA and say, I want to put a claim in or anything else like that. Go through a Veteran Service Office. We are there to represent you.
So do things get lost in the
Yes.
mix if you try to go online?
And what happens is,
Okay.
when you go online to try to do it yourself, yes, you can start your claim. Oh, it seems easy. You fill out the paperwork. Next thing you know, you're going to get a letter from the VA stating, no, we need this, that, and the other, Form 526E, and this, that, and the other. They're going to run down these forms. Yes, you can pull those forms up online. You can print them out. In the meantime, all this stuff is just rhetoric as far as they're concerned. I want to emphasize the fact, I'm jumping around here, but this is what I do want to say. All veterans when you want to put a claim in, you consider the VA as the insurance company of the guy who ran into the back of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
That's a new way of thinking.
That's the way I want veterans to think.
Yeah.
They
now
are
say that again. They should
think of the VA as the insurance company of the guy that ran into the back of
your
you.
car. Yeah.
So you know they're not looking out for your interests, but to a certain extent.
Okay.
They're trying to settle for the least amount possible. Mm-hmm. That's why you go to a Veteran Service Office, a VFW, American Legion, a DAV, AMVETS. You go to one of those and you say, I would like to talk to the service officer and I would like to put in for a disability claim. Mm-hmm. Now, in doing so, when you come to me to do that, what happens is I pull out some forms. One of them is the power of attorney and one of them actually starts your claim. I have you fill that out and send that into the Baltimore office. I then give you a stack of papers, the same papers.
Power of attorney. Why power of attorney?
Because you're giving us permission to represent you.
Okay.
You're giving us permission to be your lawyer.
Okay.
Okay?
That doesn't take anything away from a wife or a spouse.
No.
Okay.
You're giving us power of attorney. Only thing we say power of attorney gives us the permission to pull your medical records.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Now, in doing so, I'm gonna give you a stack of papers after that. I'm gonna have you fill them out, which is everything that the VA has in agreement with the VSOs and said this is what we need for a FDC, a fully developed claim. A fully developed claim is something where a whole package is done up and it's sent in either by you if you do it on your own, which I suggest you don't, or your service office. They send it in and the VA says within a certain amount of time we'll get an answer back to you, which doesn't technically always happen on time. Another thing I need to emphasize
when
is
you say on time.
On time. The time frame they say is 1 year.
1 year?
Yes, 1 year.
For a claim of 1 year?
I've seen claims go longer than 1 year. I've seen claims come back in 3 months. It's all in, once it gets into the VA system, right, where it goes and who looks at it and how long they look at it, okay? So when going to a veteran service office, we turn around, we fill out all the paperwork, we put down all the ailments that we are going to try to claim for you. Now, all that is based on your medical record book that's the military that the VA now has since you are a veteran. They have to pull their records. They send those records to our service office. They have the records. Our service officer then goes through every page of your medical record book and tries to find any condition that they could put down, any secondary, any third condition.
Wow.
Now, I'll say that because When I say secondary and third conditions, it's because sometimes you have ailments like, let's say, Agent Orange, for instance. The VA just recognized 13 more ailments under Agent Orange that they are now recognizing. Now, under those 13 other ailments, there are other ailments that come from that complication, okay? So we're going from sleep apnea to skin diseases to psoriasis to hearing problems and everything else, which can be associated to the Agent Orange exposure. Now, you as the veteran getting this paperwork back from the VA don't know to put that down.
Right.
That's why a
That's
service
right.
officer knows that. They
Right.
get trained on what to look for and what to ask for, okay? So now,
No wonder
that-
it's so complicated.
it is
I mean,
complicated.
especially if you try
But
to
you
do
let
it yourself.
somebody else do it for you.
Yeah.
For free, I mind you. This is free. We do this free of
That
charge.
was my next question. How much?
We do this free of charge.
Okay.
Do not ever pay any lawyer, any organization, any group that says for a certain percentage of your disability check, we'll get this done and it'll get done faster through us. No, it doesn't. It goes through the same process that our paperwork goes through. As a matter of fact, any Veteran Service Office who files your paperwork can follow your paperwork faster and better than anybody on the outside because they are in every VA building.
Right.
That's what people need to know.
Wow.
We are here to serve you, and it is free of charge. You do not have to be a member of the VFW to get my services. You do not have to be a member of the American Legion or DAV to get their service. You see their service officer, and they will start your paperwork for free.
Okay. What is it when you mention member? So there are two classes. You can just show your military ID, right?
DD-214.
Or you can join.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Now, what makes the VFW different from the other veteran service offices is the fact that in order to be a member of the VFW, you have to have served in a conflict area, in a war area,
Okay.
in an area that's considered a conflict area. You have to have, on your DD-214, you have to have paperwork that says, yes, he served in such and such and such place, like Korea, which is near the DMZ. Everything over in the Middle East right now.
Right.
It
doesn't matter how long ago.
Doesn't matter how long ago.
Which
But
war,
you
this has to
view
be
of Vietnam, whether you're off the coast or whether you had boots on the ground, as they call it, yes, you can join the VFW. See, everybody can't join. You have some people who are in during wartime situations, but they might have been stationed in Kansas sometime for their whole enlistment. No. Or maybe in Germany or something like that. No, they can't join. You have to have been in a conflict area.
I didn't
That's
know
the
that.
difference between the VFW
That's
and the
very
American Legion
interesting.
and everybody else.
Right.
You can walk American Legion, show them your DD-214, and join.
Wow.
DAV and everybody else, you can join them. VFW have to have their paperwork. Okay?
Okay.
We are there to serve veterans of foreign wars.
Okay.
And
Right.
we take particular care of our veterans of foreign wars. Whether I've just dealt with 2 veterans from World War II. You know, so we deal with you back to World War II. Have no problem. But getting back to the paperwork, and I want people to understand, it is a minefield. The VFW has worked with the veteran service offices to try to cut down that paperwork. And back to my fully developed claim. Yes, once you get it started with us and we pull your records, that is the biggest part, the biggest weight in your claim. Us waiting for the VA to get the paperwork back to us, okay? Yes, if you do have a copy of your record book, that would be great. Another thing I want to say.
Copy of a record book.
Copy
Now,
of your
explain that.
medical record book.
Oh, okay.
And that's another thing I want to say. I'm jumping around, but I'll get back to my point. Before you get out, please burn a copy of your medical record book. Burn your own copy, whether you have to take it out to a Staples or whatever and get copies made, and you take a record book back when you turn it in, but you have a copy of your your medical record book. You need that
And
just in case they say they can't find it.
Does that come in from the moment you're inducted?
Yes.
And all the way through your whole.
Yes, because when it's time for you to get out of the military, whether you did 3 years, whether you did 28 years, you have a medical record book. Yes, get all your records and get copies of it. And you keep that for yourself. Of course, sometimes records get lost, especially if you've been stationed here, there, and everywhere.
Right.
Now,
I understand that. Okay.
back to.
You know, I think what we're going to do, we're going to take a short station break. We'll be right back after these special announcements. So don't touch that dial.
After leaving the military, some veterans may face homelessness, but they aren't alone in the battle. Thanks to a simple phone call, they can get help from a trained professional at VA. If you know of or are a veteran in need, call 877-424-3838.
Thank you for watching Skills to Pay the Bills and learning more about how to access veteran benefits from Commander Todd Traynham from VFW Post 9619. Now, the other question that I wanted to ask you in comparison to when you got out of the military and
Yes.
you came home and tried to get benefits, how easy or harder is it now? Because during the first session, it is complicated. My head was...
And that is a good question. And believe me, you know, I may have made that statement about the VA being the insurance company guy that ran in the back of you. I will say this, the VA medical system has made a big change. As of 1992, when I first got out, I went to the VA hospital and I hated it. I hated the way they treated everybody, had you lined up on a wall, you wait forever just to get an aspirin. In 1992, they changed completely around. The VA medical system is there and it does work. It works well. They have up-to-date equipment and everything else. They have decent doctors there now. It's still hard to get into the system and navigate through the systems now. Yes, it's a lot of paperwork, and people get frustrated, but this is what you have to go through in order to get what you have earned. And this is what I tell veterans, and it's on my cards and everything. I'm here to get you what you have earned, not what you're asking for.
Do you have situations where a spouse, because the spouse that was in the military is disabled, and you might have a husband or wife that has to try to walk that paperwork through?
Yes, they do.
Something that...
Yes, they do. And you can give any veteran service officer a call, and they'll be glad to help any spouse, help them with that. And also, give your veteran service officers a call versus the VA to find out what programs there are, especially for disabled veterans and everything else.
That's a good point.
There are different programs. There's a HISA program in the VA that people don't know about. They will come in and renovate your house for you up to like $9,000, which I found out from word of mouth, and I found out myself, and I had them come in my house because I have a replaced knee and 2 replaced hips from the VA and from being in the military. Well, they came in and I could not navigate myself within my house going up and down the stairs, so I stay on the main level. They came in and added, next to the laundry room, added a shower.
So is that one hit you took for us, or you took more than one hit?
I took more than one hit.
You took more than one hit for us. Wow.
Yes,
you know,
but
thank you.
I'm still here. I'm better off than a lot of veterans that come back. So that's what I'm appreciative of, and that's why I try to give back to those veterans. You have veterans out there who have come back with lost limbs and everything. There are programs out there to fix your house up. You know, there are programs out there for people in wheelchairs to give you a vehicle and give you a power wheelchair. Veterans don't know these things. You have to ask about them. The VA does not offer these things up, you know, just readily. Like, hey, this is readily.
Right.
Word of mouth, you hear something, if you hear, hey, I heard the VA is doing this, ask the Veteran Service Office.
Right. Commander, why did you decide when you got back that you wanted to become involved with VFW?
Well, like I said, after being in the post office and being around a lot of veterans, and I walked into a VFW. Number one, when you walk into VFW American Legion building, the camaraderie is there. You have other veterans there, whether it's Marine Corps, Air Force, Army, Navy, even Coast Guard. Whether it's that, but you know you're amongst other military people, so you feel right at home, okay? And then, you know, when you go to a couple of their meetings, and you're sitting up there, you ask questions, and that's how I got involved. They say, well, hey, since you asking these questions and everything, you want to help out. Sure.
So you say, yeah. Well, the next question I have is, of course, earlier I had shared with our viewers that you received the prestigious Presidential Service Badge.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? What was that like? That's such an honor.
It was an honor, and I have to thank my parents for bringing me up right to where I stayed out of trouble, because they do a serious background check on you. You have the CIA and the FBI. They went and questioned everybody. High school teachers, people in the neighborhood, and everything. Nobody could say anything bad about Todd Traynham at the time. I stayed out of trouble because Bernie Traynham and Pat Traynham made sure I was home for the lights came on out on the street and everything else, and I did my homework. So I thank them for that. And making me do good in school, I got good grades, so I got selected for that program. And it is a prestigious medal and an honor to serve. While at Camp David, I was up there for the historical summit meeting with Menachem Begin and
Right, I
Anwar
remember
Sadat.
that. Yeah.
I actually met both of them. I actually talked with Anwar Sadat, and he's royalty.
Yeah.
I've spoken with President Jimmy Carter on occasion when he's come out on the post and everything else. So
Right.
yes, it is. I loved it.
You
I
had a
loved
good.
it.
It was
I had,
good.
it was a good duty.
Right. So what about Air Force? You mentioned earlier that the helicopter.
Oh yeah,
heli-
Marine
and-
One, Marine One. When he
One.
flies up there on the helicopter and everything else, yes, it's you either get to stand guard duty over the helicopter or stand outside when he comes in. I loved it.
Right.
I loved it.
And we probably will end up, because we're going to do a part 2 of this. So
Yes.
I know we're not going to get through everything. But can you start telling us all the different benefits that the VFW offers? Because I remember when I was working on my master's, the class was filled with
Yes.
veterans, and then
Yes.
a few years later, it was like something had happened with the money, and
No,
is
VFW
this
doesn't
sort of
have money problems.
education?
No.
Okay.
We have a lot of programs. We also, let's see, we help Boy Scouts.
Okay.
We let our Boy Scouts use our facilities. We sponsor them. We sponsor ROTC groups. We also turn around and we do a lot of community service. We have citizenship education programs. We have VFW's Youth Scholarship Program. We have a Voice of Democracy Scholarship Program where you don't have to be a veteran. You have a child who you feel is going to go on to bigger and better things, and they have a good voice. Voice of Democracy, they come in, they write up an essay on how they feel about this country, how they love this country, and they get into a competition. They move on from the region to the state to the national level. That scholarship is up to $25,000.
Whoa.
Along the way, if you win in your region, that's a couple $1,000. You win in the state, that's $5,000. You move on. And this is just for a child writing a paper on how they feel about their country and enunciating properly and delivering a speech on that.
Wow.
We also have our safety programs. We have a buddy poppy system where you turn around and if you see anybody else selling little red buddy poppies, please give a donation. It doesn't matter what it is, it could be a quarter, whatever, they give you a little buddy poppy. And that money goes towards our National Home for Children. Our National Home for Children is community development in a family-like environment that's set up out in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. It's on 160 acres. And it's there for children, orphan or single parents children, okay? So it is a nice giant community. Matter of fact, I just visited it last summer. It's a nice community. It's set up to help those kids that lost a parent, lost a parent that was overseas, or has a parent that's disabled or whatever, or has a single parent. You have a lot of single parents in the military that have to leave their children and go overseas and everything.
And on that note, we're going to have to close, but we're going to pick that up in part 2.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, and I'm excited about
Thanks
part
for
2.
having me here. And I have a lot more to say to these veterans about
And we're going to
things.
hear it.
Thank you.
We hope that you have enjoyed this segment. On May 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Springfield, Virginia, we will be sharing food, household items, and toys for children 3 to 9 years old for 60 veterans and their immediate families at the Veterans Moneyless Market Day. If you are interested in being a participant in this event, please get in touch with us to register. We can only accommodate 60 veterans and their immediate families, so registration is a must. You will see a flyer on your TV screen with more information as we close our show. Have a fantastic day, and we will see you soon on Skills to Pay the Bills. Bye-bye.